I don't even know where to start. So we're obviously live from the basement. This is technically episode 11, but we're not going to have one guest. We have three guests, the former guests. None of them. This is actually a support crew behind the scenes, and one of them has their phone on right now. So if you hear that noise going back and forth, they're supposed to know this, but it's going off crazy. I think it's definitely Jason. Did you hear that?
Is it better now?
It's better now. Thanks.
Okay. I turned the cell off, but whatever.
So I'm glad that four of you realized that we go live at 7:00. Josh literally walked in a minute before. So we're actually winging this. I thought I was going to have like at least 10 minutes to talk to these guys, make sure we know what we're doing. But obviously, we're just going to wing it. But joining me today is the almost all the Pours with Patriots crew. We're missing one. He's on vacation. He thought it was more important to hang out with his family and kids before he deploys. You make choices, so he's missing out on the barrel pick. Not really. I gave him a sample before, so he's doing his own. He's doing it behind the scenes. So, holy cow! Sorry. So what we're going to do tonight is this crew that you see here, and a lot of people are listening. They've probably been part of a barrel pick, and then some people haven't. So what we thought is we were fortunate enough to get a barrel allocated of Knob Creek bourbon for the group. So here's the news. I was kind of alluding to it, but once the pick is complete, once the bottles come to the lovely state of Ohio, this group will have a chance to have first dibs on a exclusive Knob Creek barrel bourbon. So I want to thank the folks at Knob Creek that have helped out. Keith, Nick, thank you very much. So we appreciate it. So, and then the idea here is we were going to do it behind the scenes, but we thought we would do it in front on a camera. It's the first time I've done it on a camera. Yeah, kind of interesting. So a lot of people haven't, like I said, a lot of people have been able to do barrel picks. A lot of people haven't. So we just thought it'd be cool to kind of go through a process we use to do it. And as always, if you have any questions, Josh is already slacking. He doesn't have it on the comments there portion. So that's what happens when you show up 1 minute late. He's trying to make me do all the work today. So we have some comments. See that? Actually, Andrew said he'll be here in about 12 hours, so he'll barely be.
Yeah,
Josh.
can we get rid of this Air Force flag?
Yeah, I know.
Seriously.
Yeah, I know that. So I was waiting for somebody to notice that. I've been out of town, and I know. Thanks, Andrew. But who's sitting underneath it? That's the best part. That's why I said he has to sit over there. Don't tear it down. Don't. I don't want everybody to see what's behind there.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, it was funny. So we thought that's the first thing I noticed. I've been out of town. I got here. I was actually in Kentucky all day. These guys were all in Columbus area, but somehow I came home, baked bread for them, got them snacks.
Bullshit.
Shay's the only one who comes from Kentucky to do a barrel pick in Ohio.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I thought I was kind of stressed out about that, but you look good under that. It gives you like the little. If you move the other way, it gives you like little horns. So that's perfect. But all joking aside, what we're going to do is the barrel we're picking tonight is a single barrel bourbon from Knob Creek. So what they send for us, as you can see on the table a little bit, I have mine here. I get the fancy thing. Those guys didn't get one, but we have 3 barrels that we're going to select tonight. We're going to taste those barrels, and then we're going to at the end of it vote, and whatever barrel is the most popular amongst.
What he means to say is whatever he decides.
No, that's no. It's funny. Like, and that's why I want to do this live. Is so all these guys have done a pick before with either our bourbon group or at Opa Grill and Tavern. So what's interesting about that is this is why we do this. It's like we have a process. It is very easy if you are in charge of a single barrel program to say I'm going to pick the one that I like. And the problem with that is you guys would agree, and this is a good opportunity for everybody to talk about is. That can be scary because we all have different palates. Although we all drink a lot of the same whiskey, we all like different things.
And a lot of these picks are going in bars where you have like a wide variety of, customers. So it's not just what you like. You got to think of, everyone.
Right. Exactly. And that's what we do here. So that's why we do this process. So behind the scenes is I'll pull it aside here. There's a nice wooden case. I'll pull it out here that they send everything in. It's really awesome. Knob Creek has been doing this for a long time. It's a nice wooden box. All the samples are in there. Some really great, cool things come in that. And then I think last year, I'm gonna probably get in trouble from either Nick or Keith, but I think last year or even this year in the last year they started doing again in-person picks. So you can actually still go to the distillery and do the same thing, but you're gonna obviously be in a rick house. not in my basement, and it's really cool. Eat both ways. I mean,
This is kind of like a rick house.
yeah, kind of. It has a lot of whiskey in it, that's true. So yeah, so there's two ways, and I guess we'll talk about the barrel program as I brought that up. So there's two ways of doing it. Like this would be a sample kit. So this is Knob Creek's how they do it. Other people do it differently. I think Knob Creek, definitely you guys would agree. You've seen it, does it. It's class act.
Oh, yeah,
They've been doing
absolutely.
this for a long time and it's super cool. The box here is a really cool thing to have in your bar, and stay tuned because at some point here in the next couple weeks or so, someone will have the opportunity to get it and you can have it in your basement. It won't have the samples because we're drinking it all. But yeah, and so depending on the distillery, they send different size samples. So we'll talk about it and we'll end up getting to it. But I just wanted to kind of educate some people a little bit as we do things. But so this is a size sample that they send. So it's not a lot. We still have some left over in case there's some problems. And
There'll be problems.
yeah, probably stay tuned because you might have a chance to take part in the pick after.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, but yeah, this is what they send. They send 3 samples. They send. This is what Knob Creek sends is 3 samples here. Very nice labeled. And we're going to kind of blow through we're not going to talk about the labeling because that's kind of a little thing we'll talk about later about the theory behind when I'm doing barrel picks or part of barrel picks. So we kind of leave some information out for the fact that people aren't swayed. So that bottle has where it's located at the warehouse, the proof. It also has the age. So Knob Creek, just before we talk about Knob Creek, no matter what we're tasting tonight, will be knocked down to 120 proof. Their barrel program is always 120 proof. Other programs, they knock it down to whatever that could be 100, could be 94. And then if you've been listening or into bourbon, there is a barrel proof. So sometimes it is a barrel proof thing that we're tasting. So these are going to be a little hot. We have some water over there.
Some holy water.
Yeah, over there they send it to really cool. So we'll drop some in there to kind of simulate drinking it like what it's going to actually be barreled. So what we're tasting now is going to be a little bit watered down. Knob Creek does a really good job. You're not getting 150 proof, 140 proof samples that are getting knocked down to 120. They're super close. And for all the Knob Creek people that are listening that work there, you definitely should do barrel proof. Keith, you probably never heard that before, but you should be doing that. So pass that on to the nose. It would be a good thing. But so that's what we do. They send this in, like I said before. The other option is to actually go down to the distillery, which are pretty awesome. The preferred way to do it, I'd say. You guys have all been to distilleries, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's been there.
Yeah.
Josh, you've been to one. So we've all been to different ones. So which while we're talking, what's your guys' favorite place to go other than Knob Creek? Obviously, it's the best place to go.
Knob Creek by far, probably. Heaven Hill is a good second.
Yeah, Heaven Hill is a cool experience.
Yeah, it's different. So yeah, they're different. Like Knob Creek is great. I mean, what's great about Knob Creek. Russell's Knob Creek is taking what I think is a cool approach. We actually go to the rick house. The barrels are in the rick house. That's really cool to have that stuff. You're actually banging the bung open. You're thieving the whiskey. You're doing it right there. Not that it isn't cool when you're in a nice area like New Riff does, where it's a nice area where they have it already pulled for. All of it's a great experience. So for anybody that gets the opportunity to go on a barrel pick, whether it's like your local distillery, it's a new distillery, it's not your favorite whiskey, you definitely should go. It's great to go there. A lot of distilleries are the same in the process of distilling whiskey or bourbon the same, but everybody does it differently, and everybody definitely has their own unique flair to do it. So, I mean, it's pretty awesome no matter where you go. I think you guys, you've been to New Riff a couple of times.
Yeah. So the ones I've only done at the distillery was New Riff, but been to plenty of other.
Okay.
I think Maker's Mark is probably my favorite, like grounds and tour and dipping your own bottle, and that's
Did Keith ask you to plug Maker's Mark too? Because that is, for all the people know, Knob Creek is owned by Beam Suntory, so that's also another Beam.
No, he didn't ask me, but that one we stopped there on the way home from my wedding, so I still have a bottle that we dipped, and it's just regular Maker's Mark. Yeah, nothing special, but
all the places. I mean, you've done what? You've done Heaven Hill. Where else have we gone? That's it.
I've done several, but
don't be shy. Like, and the best part about this is how small these guys look in the background. That's how small they really are.
Well, actually, I think if I sat back there, I wouldn't look that small either.
We probably should switch that up. But they definitely, those are the Oompa Loompas back there that do all the work behind the scenes. But where have you been? You've been to Heaven Hill,
New Riff,
okay.
Wilderness Trail, Wild Turkey,
Jeez, brag much over there? Jeez.
The worst.
Sounds like I'm getting left out. I've only been to Wilderness Trail.
Wow.
Like actually Ben?
Yeah, you went on a pick there.
No, I've been to a bunch of.
Yeah,
Oh, I was
not
like,
a pick.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, so it's different. Like you said, there's different things. And not even if you go to the distillery, if you have the opportunity to pick a barrel, you absolutely should. What's really cool about it is if you're not, especially if you're new to bourbon or whiskey, we'll say, is it really kind of solidifies that a single barrel is different. So one of the things that I always hear is people go like, single barrel, this is bullshit. They don't taste different. They actually do. Like when we taste these three, they are definitely different. So it's really a cool thing to educate yourself and learn.
There's not always one that stands out as the best, but
Right.
I feel like there's always one that stands out that everyone agrees that they don't like.
Right.
Except Buffalo Trace, they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same. No, it is funny because we do a process. We're going to follow along with it, but there's some things like I have a book here that keeping track of them and stuff of all the picks that I've been on, and you'll see as we do it as we kind of track it. But Jason is right. It is funny. There is always one that. And this is something to say is it's not a bad barrel. That's one thing I think a lot of things we need to talk about as we go through.
I misspoke.
No. I'm just because there's a lot of things that go out there. People say that this is a bad barrel. For example, just about this program a little bit more. It started in 2011 in the state of Ohio this year. They got I think 33 private barrel picks that are allocated to on-premise accounts and groups like this. So it's not a lot. So there's 33 of these bottles going out, barrels going out, and these are special barrels. These are something that the people in the single barrel program have decided that are different and unique, and they should definitely be out there on their own to try it. So the word bad is kind of like a lot of people say that if someone did this. A Knob Creek pick, a week ago or 2 weeks later, they could say, "Oh, we got a better barrel." I don't buy into that premise. I think today we're going to pick for this group of people that are here, this pick team, the best barrel that we think is the best barrel, and I think that's important to remember. If I brought in another motley crew of guys and gals in here, it could be totally different. And it does. It is different. As you do picks and you are able to do picks with other people, it is funny that even though you drink a lot together or you're on picks a lot together, that you do have those, you sometimes don't agree, which is fun. So I want to say that like today, like none of these are bad barrels. There's all kinds of talk. Used to be, I think it's gotten better. Like people used to say that, these are barrels that you guys have heard that they just want to get rid of.
I think the opposite. I think, they're giving you 3 premium barrels to pick the best from. Mm-hmm. Now, relatively, is one going to be better? Yes, absolutely. But I think also, the master, distiller, blender, taster, whatever, they want to keep a similar taste profile too for most of their single barrels. I mean, so there'll be variations in the nuanced flavors and taste and everything. But I think overall, most of the single barrels will have like a similar flavor profile because it's the same mash bill, same warehouses, etc.
And they do change it up, and we'll talk about that after. Like Knob Creek does move around, but some distilleries will send you a kit, or they will be very similar. They could be from the same warehouse, just a few ricks over, or floors over. So Knob Creek does do a good job of giving you a variety, and we won't talk about that because this is the first time I think we're really going to spend the whole time talking about whiskey, which is kind of funny. And I think if you've been watching and you're into whiskey, you understand a lot of the stuff we talked about before. But if you're not into whiskey, there's a lot. This is kind of an opportunity to see how a bunch of nerds we are about whiskey and stuff. It's going to be pretty funny. Seriously. And I'm kind of interested to see it videotaped. This one might get deleted pretty quick, but what I was saying is, we'll talk about what we're not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about anything. We're not going to talk about the warehouse it comes from
until the end.
Or at the very end. Yeah, we'll talk about everything. And the reason being, though, I said about nerds is there's some people that they're convinced that the best barrels come from warehouse M, and that's what they look for. And like if you tell them this is warehouse M, they're just like, oh gosh, I only like M. The other ones are awful. This is my favorite one. The other information that we already that I know. Is I know the ages of them. I know, where they were stored, and I know their tasting proof. But like the tasting proof of this one doesn't really matter because it's gonna go down to 120 eventually. But but
there's still people who take that's highest proof.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got to be the best.
Exactly. One. So and Jason brings a good point. The two really things that really get people nerded out or make the decision prior and they don't know is the first thing you tell somebody the age. So there's 3 samples here. If I were to say, hey guys, A is 15 years old. B is 9 years old, and C is 10 years old. Some people aren't even going to taste anything. They're just like, we're getting the 15-year. And that comes about for a couple of different things. Number one, if you're a bar, where the rest of these will go into, or you're an on-premise account, Not so the age doesn't really matter as much, but if you're like a liquor store and you're getting a Knob Creek like this, the age could be a killer of why people buy it. And you guys agree, if somebody's found out there was a 12-year Knob Creek and 2 hours from here, half of Columbus is going to drive there and go get it because the normal ones are around 9.5 years now. So
we can name some of those people, but you might be watching.
Andrew's probably on the way there. But yeah, so then the other part, the age, and then Jason alluded to the proof. So there's the proof whores out there that they just like to drink the highest proof whiskey. So as soon as again you tell them that the highest proof one, that's the best one. So taking out those two factors, what end up happening is, and all the details, because some people, there are some, I don't think Knob Creek is as much more. I'm thinking like Russell's, guys.
Russell's, Old Forester, some of those are more warehouse heavy.
Yeah, so people gravitate to those. So if you take those factors out, people are going to have to pick it by the taste, okay? How they like, not like these predetermined notions of, I just like whiskey that's highest proof. I like warehouse F, and I like I'm all about age. So that's why we leave those behind. We do talk about it at the end, which you guys will see and gals will see. We'll do that at the end. So that's kind of like, am I missing like any other thing that we should talk about?
I think we have realistically, just try them blind, determine what you like best, and then view the details and be surprised. Try it without having any influence.
Yeah.
Right. And so back to Knob Creek. So we are doing Knob Creek bourbon. Like I said, there's 3 samples we have here. I'll show you the stuff after. It's really cool what they do send you. But, everybody knows Booker No is probably the most famous, master distiller we know from Knob Creek. His son is now the master distiller, which is really cool. But this program launched in 2011, which is kind of crazy. The small batch Knob Creek that you see, I think started in the 90s. I don't know exactly when it is. So it went a long time before single barrels. Single barrels used to never be really a big deal. We're not going to talk about it because it's not the product, but everybody hates or loves Blanton's. But Blanton's was the first single barrel whiskey and kind of started all this crazy.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
No, it's important when you talk about it because it really is. I mean, people there's a lot of people that are really into bourbon. Like somebody may listen, like Blanton's is my favorite. Like Andrew's probably sipping on Blanton's right now, because he's forced to drink real whiskey when he's here with us. But now he's in his safety nest, and he's
Ryan, if you're watching, I know you're drinking Blanton's right now.
Ryan's watching. We know a lot, but it is like I always pay respect to that. I'm a huge Buffalo Trace guy. You guys know that, and people that know me that are watching know that. Yeah, Jason is too. So I don't have a problem with it, but there's a lot of people that hate on it. But without that brand, we would have never. I don't know what whiskey would be today.
They started that in '84.
I think it's like 83 or 84. Yeah. So there's a story. I may not get it right, but I think I have it close. But Elmer T. Lee was the master distiller at the time. He'd been working there for a long time, and he had, if in the 80s, if you didn't know, whiskey was really not that popular. The distiller we're picking out right now, there was a big time when they used to have cool decanters of all kinds of stuff. They were doing everything they could to sell whiskey. And also the, at the time he was there when Colonel Blanton's was there, and he would notice him when he was young, and when he would have special people over, he would actually go to a warehouse, pull these barrels and serve single barrels, and people loved them. So in the 80s, he decided, hey, I'm gonna adopt that soap program. So that's how Blanton's was, the top overview of how Blanton's was. Single barrel was born in the single barrel program at Buffalo Trace that led to where it is today, which I think every major distillery has their own single barrel program, and even newer ones. It's crazy. You have brand new startups that have their own single barrels. So it's pretty cool. So it would be hard not to mention that. But back to Beam Suntory and Knob Creek. So, like I said, they send 3 samples. They do a good variety of. There's a variation between where they're from. The one thing that is similar about them, these are stored usually in like 7 to 9 floor rick houses, and their rick house is like the 7th to 5th floor. They call it the center cut, and they most of the ones I've had, and I think this is probably probably 5th or 6th Knob Creek pick. So they always have been in that center cut, and they call that that has the most balanced flavors and wood. And for education, the rick house, the middle of the rick house, it probably gets you kind of think of it as a house. We'll talk about the top level right now and where you're at. If someone's asking for the thirsty yes.
Yes. Che won't shut up.
I mean, you guys can start sipping on it, but if they would have started early, we could have pregame. I'm kind of punishing them a little bit for.
I came from the bar, so I pregame.
No, but generally, at the Rick House, if you go to, it's like your attic of your house right now in the summertime. It's really hot, so you're gonna have a lot of interaction between the whiskey and the barrels, and then the middle is gonna be a little more resistant. If you went to Rick House right now down in Kentucky today, if you're in the bottom floor, it's actually nice and cool. So that's kind of how it works. But they use that center cut. So, like I said, program started in 2011, and again, I want to thank the Beam Suntory team that hooked us up with this, and we're really looking forward to it. So, the one thing we're not going to talk in detail about is how to pick. Right? We never do that. How you pick, how you come to your conclusion. Everybody.
Don't even talk about it while we're
we're not.
Don't even talk about it while you're drinking it.
Right.
So not even mention a tasting note or wow, this is really good or this tastes like gasoline.
Right.
Keep that to ourselves. That way we don't even attempt to influence someone else, whether accidentally or not.
Right. And this is like, if everybody that doesn't think I can be quiet, they're going to actually see me be quiet while we do this, while we drink whiskey. But what I meant about that,
That's probably when the viewers will climb.
They'll go up to 50. But no, but what's interesting about what Jason said, he did talk. It was like, we don't talk about it. What I was alluding to is how to pick it. Like, so there's different things. Like I set something up beforehand. I have something ready to go. I have how I do it. But one of the things I think is important is not to tell somebody how to pick it. However you come to your conclusion is how you come to your conclusion. You can taste this within 2 minutes. You can make your decision. I've had that before. I've tasted some barrel picks, and within 5 minutes, I've known what it is. But then I go back and try to, pick up some tasting notes for someone who wasn't, live, actually tasting, so they can understand where they're coming from. So there are people that literally will come. It's fun when we do this, and I want you guys to really try to do your details of how you do it the best you do.
I'll get about 3 words.
Yeah,
on this paper.
Some people will, but
don't
do it how you really do it, and then we'll talk about it. But it is fun. You will have some people that will be like, "This tastes like creme brulee,
fresh cut grass on a summer morning."
You have all these things, and it is fun because that's how these people do it. But that's what Jason references. We don't talk about that because if I start saying like, "Oh, this is a cinnamon bomb," all these guys are going to start thinking you can influence or get into somebody's mind really quick. So we usually just let them taste it. We're going to do that. If you guys have any questions, throw it up there, and we'll get to them. The guys from Beam Suntory said they would answer any questions or here. If you had anything about the distillery, please put it in there. And Nick said he would get on there later on and do that. Before we do that, I did want in the front to show you the difference along the way. These aren't all 2000 all the way back to 2011. I wish I had I don't think I've had a 2011. You never know because they didn't have ages on it. If you go all the way to the one closest to Jason, it was never labeled. It was always labeled small batch, and it had a little silver. If you put up close to the thing, you see like a little silver tag up there, but it didn't tell anything about it. And they started to evolve. So the next phase they went into that recently is they started now changing the bottle, giving it a little bit more, updating the logo. And then also at the bottom, putting where the barrel's from and all the information on it helped. And then they actually continued. They changed the label yet again. Pretty similar, you can see it. And then now the one that's right here closest to me. This is actually the most current version of how they do it. And you can see the bottle's actually ribbed. And this is done by
for her pleasure.
Evidently, it's for bartenders. It's for bartenders' pleasure. I'm like, it has some grip to grab a hold of it, but it is. They've determined that this is the best way for them to have bar presence on the bar.
It's amazing how much bigger that bottle looks.
That's what she said.
And it's the same size.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you look at it, so it's the older one right there. If you hold that, so it is different, but these are same amount, 750 milliliters, but definitely a different size. And I won't show what's on the back of that because it will upset people. But that's where so this is where we're at today, and you can see how they've evolved. The one thing I think about before we get into, I think it's cool is like now there's actually the information on it, like the older ones.
Right.
We found. Remember, I found a couple in Massachusetts. You guys got them.
But the owner knew the age.
Yeah. Usually, if you had a good owner, they knew what that was. But you never know too. Like an owner that you're going in there and they're charging you up, money. You don't really know. So it kind of took away that like, do I trust this liquor store owner that this is really 13 years old? And before I start, I guess one of the things to talk about is the one that Jason told us when they started moving up to almost. I think I'm right, but up to 2001 is they were releasing barrels all the way up to 16 years.
This is 14.
Yeah, so that one right there is 14 years. So they 16
and so it lists the warehouse, the floor, the rick, and then when it was barreled, and then when it was bottled.
Right.
So all that information.
Yeah, so it
on
takes
the
away
label
all
now.
it takes away all the that question, like this bottle we're talking about. The liquor store, may have gotten something, or they talked to him and they were able to talk to you. Might have been, but if you're there at 8:00 and it's a liquor store employee, he or she may have no idea what it was. So they've done a great job of now putting that information out. That one said small batch, which is interesting too, because that kind of confused some of the people that it was a single barrel, but it actually said small batch. So this is where it's at now. I like this version a little bit better. The bottle here is a little bit different, but I don't work at Beam Country, and Keith didn't listen to me when he asked me that question, what I thought about the new bottle. Thanks, Keith. But we're gonna get started. I think you saw Jason was actually already starting over there, so we're gonna
Thirsty.
Yeah, we'll talk about some other stuff, I guess, as we're doing it, but we're not going to talk like normal about what it is. So go ahead and start doing your guys' due diligence. And then Andrew already said he has his choices. So I hope we all choose the same bad one.
It'd be cool
if
you could like live stream someone in, like have them drop in from wherever they're at. And a little picture in picture.
We can actually do that.
We can, but the producer.
But it's down there.
Oh yeah,
set
producer got here 30 seconds before.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Nick. They have ambassadors, and we were talking about doing that. I was like, man, we might be able to work that, but yeah, my producer there showed up literally 30 seconds, 34 seconds before we went live.
It wasn't a whole 40 seconds.
Yeah. So. Sure, he said he's drinking rare breed.
I believe it.
Yeah, so as we're talking, I won't say what I'm thinking, but you see everybody's grabbing the glass right now and like nosing it, trying to figure out the nose and
it smells like whiskey.
It smells like bourbon. So going through just to say that's a way to do it. There's different ways to do it. Again, I'm not telling people how to get how to determine it for you. You're big boys and big girls if you do this, but that's kind of what I'm doing. And like how I do it is, I guess I'll talk about how I grade it. Is I just do like the nose, palate, and the finish, and then I just make some notes about those and rank them that way. Did you hear that?
No,
I like this smacking. I can hear it. It's like that.
No, that was me.
Was that you? I thought that was like.
Nate will swish and then he'll swallow it down the wrong pipe and start coughing. That's how you know he's really getting into the barrel pick.
That's how you know it's a good one.
And then so this one is interesting. We'll talk about is I'm going to go through everything now one time where I'm just going to do it at the bottle where it is bottled right now. Obviously, before I make my final decision, we're going to add water into because we have to kind of simulate what the barrel's going to talk. Right, so I'm just kind of enjoying real quick what it smells like if it were the normal proof.
And you can bring a whole loaf over here for a palate cleanser if you want.
No, Che got mad because he was like, "Oh, you went to a loaf of bread on the podcast again." That's exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah, but the bread calmed me down. You said it gave me carbs.
And
calmed down.
Kind of lowered his. I don't know. Got some carbs in them. Just settled them down. Was your blood sugar low? Make you kind of angry?
I think the fact that I was in the car for 4.5 hours hunting bourbon and it's actually nice scores today, but
did that one turn out to be legit?
No.
The 375?
Huh?
You said son of a bitch.
It's here. Oh no! I was just goofing around.
So I guess this is gonna be like the super boring part if you're watching us. People,
I mean, this is how it goes.
It is that kind of
pretty quietly.
Yeah, we do. It's pretty funny.
10,
we'll talk about some
minutes.
stuff, but yeah, it won't be like this for.
So are we gonna try to like?
Yeah, don't drink it. Yeah,
don't drink. Try to eliminate one and then.
We'll do like we normally do. We'll get rid of we'll put one off, and then. But guys, make sure you save enough to add water because definitely remember these.
Quit telling me how to do it.
I know. Hey, I'm just telling you. You'd be like, hey, it doesn't taste like it did when I did it. Yeah, because it's 4 proof less.
Oh, so these are 124 proof?
Oh, see, did you read that? You don't know, do you?
I don't know.
I know.
I know.
I didn't write down here because I know Josh's. I feel like Josh's. God, I love
You're all
seeing
tear taters.
I love how small you guys look in the background. It is.
You're also a giant person.
You just call me fat. No,
not my words.
I spelled just fine, Andrew. Thank you very much. I'm gonna move this away in case they can hear me chewing my cud.
Yeah. Yeah, can you get that ready?
I'm going with the holy water.
Sorry.
Can't use none of that bottled water.
I was prepared.
That's why I moved the mic away.
This up.
Sorry. Sorry, guys.
This had me laughing.
The bread's really good.
Yeah, just drop maybe do 4 or 5. Just drop in there.
4 or 5 drops.
2.
Heavy on the drop.
3, 4.
Absolutely hear you chewing.
That's why I moved the microphone away.
Andrew, that's all you hear when he's down here anyways. That's all you do. Now you just hear it.
Yeah, guys, so I hang out in the background and I snack the entire time. There's not quite the spread of food we normally have. I didn't make pulled pork this time like I did last time. But yeah.
But we always got wheat, baby.
Wheat. But yeah, I just hang out in the background, eat. I'll come over and sit down for a few minutes and then I go back. I took my shoes off, but they're right underneath me here. Shay's very particular about walking on the cold tile floor with no shoes.
That's how you break your bit. It is the floor does get cold.
I know. That's why I keep my damn shoes on.
Yeah.
But we got the rug now. So
my wife did say you're allowed to have them on there. You're allowed to wear them down here, guys. So override my decision.
You're the best, Jana.
So if you guys have the water in there, just go. Now that's go ahead. So what we're doing now is again. Put them in all to simulate what is actually closest to probably the barrel, what it's going to taste like when it's bottled. So now is when I'm going to get more serious about what I'm doing because I think this is what it's really going to taste like. Before was just kind of enjoy. I always like to do it that way, regardless of where it's at, is to try it, straight from the barrel or barrel strength, however you want to call it, because it's just fun, to do that. And Keith, these would be dynamic, all of them. If you guys would just.
So do they, when they give us the test kits, do they water them down before they give them to us, or is it so? It is straight from the barrel.
Yep. And we're supposed to get all scientific. They give us a beaker and all that stuff, and
what are the
we're just kind of winging it a little bit.
What's the highest proof you've seen from in the 130s?
No, I'd have to look back. I don't know if I have one. That's a good question. I don't think I've ever seen anything. I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't think I've seen anything from Knob Creek in the kits that were over 130.
Just curious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we did. Well, let's do this real quick. I know we just did a rye. We just did one down. And hold on, that's a good question. We can answer this.
How many pages you have to
So we did a Knob Creek pick down at the distillery in April, right? So the 3 choices that proofs we had then were 126.9, 128.5, and 121.8. So that kind of talks about what we said before. If I would have told everybody that one of these is one, it's good information to know somehow, because 121.8, that's kind of how it's going to, really close to how it's going to taste. But 128.5 necessarily, it might taste a lot different. And so one of the other things too, when you're doing this is now how it's going to be barreled and bottled. I mean, how it's going to be bottled. So the other thing to remember is some people will drink this on the rocks. So what I'll do is before I finish it, and my last thing, I'll put a little bit more water in there to simulate someone if they were put it on ice cubes, because that does make a difference. So whiskey does taste different when you can add 1 drop of water to it to ice cubes. So that's the way to do it. And then someone put Shay drinking 101. No, so, I would be drinking a lot more normally, but
I'll plug this real quick because we've got a lot of comments that's go around. If you have not gone on to StreamYard and authorized them for your comments to show up on Facebook, we can see the comments. So I know who's made what comments, but on what we're seeing right now, we're on StreamYard. All it shows up is like that Facebook user. So if you guys would make sure if you want, I guess, if you're going to ask a question or something specific, go on and authorize them so that we when we're watching this and doing it live, we can respond to your question, or we know who the question's coming from.
Right. Then we know who to ignore if it's
Right.
Andrew is like, definitely, he should be on Facebook users, so we wouldn't know that it's him. And it could be, but now we're going to.
He's probably drunk right now anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I hope not. He's going to drive. And
he's going to drive tomorrow.
Yeah, but he's going to do all the driving. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I know.
These guys aren't married.
I know.
Serious girlfriends. When you guys travel, who drives?
We split.
Like, you legitimately split it.
My wife drives. She hates when I drive.
Well, I saw a video of you. I see why.
That was not my fault. Not my fault. I about died and killed somebody else.
I think he would have been in worse shape. But yeah.
Oh yeah, he would have been way worse shape. So I'm coming home from Michigan on Sunday, 2 miles from where I store the fifth wheel, and some guy decided to turn left on a red light that he had. I had a green light, and I'm cruising, and I had just changed lanes. And had I not, he would not have had enough room to clear, and I was centimeters probably from hitting him. It was ugly. The great part is, though, there was a cop in the left turn lane on my side, saw it all go down, and he pulled the guy over. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It's justice.
I might have shit my pants
a
a little bit.
You should post that because what did you say? It's funny. You said something like, and I replayed it like 5 or 6 times just so you go like, oh, like your first reaction from the dash cam was pretty funny.
Let's see here. I think.
Jeez, you went like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Oh, it won't let me post a video. I'll post it on a separate thread and Pours with Patriots. Right.
And feel free if you can take that and do kind of AV stuff and somehow put that in there to make fun of it. Please do that. I'd appreciate it.
It was 12,000-pound camper, 1-ton truck. I think I pushed the brake pedal through the floor. It's good stuff.
Jeez.
So pay attention when you drive, please. No, Andrew will definitely be driving the whole way.
But your wife, see, I don't like when my wife drives.
I didn't say I liked it. I said she does.
Okay.
She doesn't like when I drive.
That's fair.
I don't drive fast enough for her.
What is she like? 90 on the?
At least.
With the towing.
With the camper.
Well, no, she doesn't drive the camper. She doesn't drive the camper. So if we go somewhere without the camper, she drives.
Well, how many times I can see that. How many times did you get pulled over? That makes sense. How many times did you get pulled over when you got back?
On that 18-day road trip? Yeah. Twice.
Smart.
And a third time, the trooper coming at us turned the lights on to tell her to slow her ass down.
Oh, wow.
And then she got pulled over about 20 minutes after that.
Oh, couldn't take the warning.
Love you if you're watching.
You're the best driver.
You are incredible.
You drive very fast. But if I go like a mile over the speed limit, it's like white knuckle. Luckily, during that incident, her head was down. She was paying zero attention, playing some game on her phone.
All right, so just to talk about like everyone's going through, I think Josh is probably taking the most notes of anybody right now. So
I have bread on my paper.
Yeah, they have bread. So it's different way of doing it. And honestly, there's different ways. Jason's so.
I love it.
Your wife is one. You are.
Damn it.
Watching. Yeah, you're in trouble.
Love you.
But there's different ways of doing it. Like, so we're trying to capture what it is, and I think it's funny. Like and just we're talking about, like, I already made. I have a favorite already just by the nose. So if you were watching, I was doing some stuff with the nose. So I kind of do that before I taste it again. So then now I'm gonna move into like the tasting portion about it to see which one I like. But and that can change. It depends on what you like best. So a lot of people will say whatever smells best you like when you drink it, right? I mean, I've heard people say that before. Like those could be like the most important thing. It could be like a killer nose, and somebody's like, "Oh, this is it because I like it," and that might sway your decision. So, however you rate it, like I do nose, palate, finish, and for me, I like a good nose, but I'm more like I don't think that's my number one factor.
Not at all.
Mine is more the
but
finish.
if it's a bad nose, then I'm not going to want to drink it.
Yeah.
Agreed, but by nature, nose is the sense that lasts least.
Yeah.
So to me, nose by nature is the least important.
But nose is
Not
also a majority of your taste too.
Yeah.
Agreed,
So,
and not to say that
too.
nose isn't important, but I mean, nose gets you become nose blind so quick that really the palate
Right.
becomes your more dominant sense. In my
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think.
And the finish.
You know,
the
it-
after-
Oh, yeah,
the
absolutely.
It's
after.
funny you say that about the nose because I feel like the nose brings back like serious memories. Like
Yeah, it does.
on the last deployment, you step off that plane into
Mhm.
Kuwait and you're like, I felt like I was just here yesterday because the smell is
Right.
just so. I feel like the nose brings back so many memories.
Right, and Andrew just put up. He said he didn't take any notes, and he said, "But the best nose won by my vote." So that's how I do it. And again, and we're talking about this like to kind of really to be honest, to educate people. It doesn't matter how. Well, it's really subjective. It's like, and I think that's one of the things I always try to tell people is it doesn't matter what you like. Like when I'm working, sometimes people ask me like, "What's your favorite whiskey or bourbon?" It doesn't matter what my favorite is. I mean, if you want to have a conversation, that's great. But if that's what you're using,
And he says Blanton's.
yeah, if you have the if we've drank together, it's different. Like, so I think all of us have drank together a lot.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Who is that? That's what. See, this is what's fun. We can't tell who that is.
No,
so-
I'm gonna out.
Oh, I
him.
got to get on there. Yeah,
I'm gonna out him.
My nose, it takes over. Love it.
No, but it is. That's one of the things that too. Like when you drink with people.
So that comment is actually my commander who I added this afternoon.
oh, nice.
My
Nice.
company
Love
commander.
it.
Welcome.
Go company commander.
You need to get control of your first art. They're
He can't.
Oh, that's
He
really
can't.
funny.
He knows.
no, but yeah, that is so that's what I bring that up to talk about that. It is one of the fun things. I think a lot of people, like I said, if you have a chance, go. It doesn't matter how. It really doesn't matter how many times you've done or how much whiskey you had. You can still be a very vital part of a pick. And we've had people that have taken part of picks that aren't even into whiskey, and they try it, and it's hysterical. They actually fall in line with what I consider to be what most of the other people that are into it find. They do find.
So Sean's tagged along
Yeah,
a couple times, and she ends up picking, and she's not a whiskey drinker, but ends up picking the one that the rest of the group picked as being the one that she liked the most. Not that she necessarily liked it, but if she had to order it, that's the one that she would order out of those three, which is great for the bars because that's a non-whiskey drinker saying, yeah, that's the best one of the three or four.
But so yeah, so the picks that we've been part of is part of it goes to a bourbon group, and then a lot of it goes to an on-premise account. So that is important for when I'm doing this. Still, most of these bottles will go to the group. So there's still someone will still go to the on-premise account, but you want a versatile pick. You want something that is going to be enjoyed by all the masses, and that's why I talked about a few seconds ago about hitting with water at the end. To stimulate what somebody's having rocks, because that's totally different. Because believe it or not, everybody here that's at the table now, and I'm glad Andrew's not here because he usually puts ice in his and stuff. But we actually are men and we drink
Coke.
it straight. But people drink it differently. So that's what you want. You're looking for. I'm always looking for the best barrel and most versatile barrel. And sometimes that sways my decision. Maybe something that I know I'd really like to drink, but I know that other people aren't. And that's happened quite a few times where, my vote is like, if I had the whole barrel and I was going to be able to drink it for the rest of my life, I would do that. But then knowing everybody else, they'd be like, I don't really, that wouldn't be my favorite. So that's always an important thing. And then the women picks have been really good. So we, in our groups, we do that. And as long as I've been involved with the bar where we do this, is we have had a couple
I already showed that.
women's exclusive picks. We did in Old Oak.
That one was really good.
2020. That's a good story. Like
Yeah.
pick. And then 2018 is a Knob Creek bourbon pick. And if you're in the Columbus area and you have not been up to Opa Grill and Tavern, or if you have been there and you've not tried Bombardiers and
good.
Bombshells, they're 2018 Knob Creek bourbon picks. 14 and a half years old. You need to go there. We're running out of them, and they're phenomenal. But when they did that, the Bombardiers was picked by the guys, and then the Bombshells is what the women picked. But the Old Oak was interesting. We had, I think, 7 women, and then it was the owner and myself that were on that. And actually, the owner and myself and one of the ladies voted for a different barrel, so it was 6-3. And the owner was talking about how he was going to maybe sway Genty was talking about swaying it, and maybe he wanted that barrel, and we were laughing, and I was like, I am not telling 6 women that they're not getting the barrel we picked. But it actually has turned out to be a really, for the people that have it or had before, Open the Sugar Mom, as it's called. It's really good, a really popular pick. I've seen it as an introductory bourbon to get people into it.
Absolutely.
So bourbon, it's really, really good. It's not. Don't get me wrong. It's really good, and we talked about it before about your favorites, right? Like, it's really good, but it's just at the.
It depends on which night of the week.
Yeah,
is what my favorite is.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah,
What I'm eating.
People ask like what you're having or whatever. It's like it just depends on what bottle I have staged upstairs or what son is here that I can keep sending down in the basement that can come bring me whiskey.
Fetch me my port, boy.
Go down there and give me the one that says Booker's. So Jason moving along over there. He looks like he's done. He's already drinking something, so I'm sure he's made his decision already.
Yep, sure have.
I think I have as well, actually.
I certainly know which one I like the least.
Yeah, we'll go on that next. We'll do that.
I don't actually.
Well, it's not like we said before. It's not bad, but there's two that stand out more than the other one.
Yeah, so I'm like 90% already. I mean, and I've been going slower through it, but I know that. Yeah, I think that's right. Like we were talking about earlier, like how we do the processes. We'll start here in a couple minutes. If you guys have it for real, hit them with more water just to at the very end. To simulate it. One more hit. If you don't have to, it's up to you guys, but that's fine. But
under 120 now.
It's
trying to try that
get to 100
Knob Creek. Oxygen infused, maybe.
I just don't sit back and ponder as I'm tasting. I'm like, yes, no, yes.
No,
Someone's got to take notes for when you release the barrel.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good to do that. I try to be. I'm the same way. It's always funny. Like some people are going and it's hysterical that they get to the same ending you do, but it's really funny that some people have this really like if you hold up like Josh real quick, you can't see it, but Josh has taken a lot of notes so far, which is good. We'll make fun of what he wrote, but no, we do. I try to do the same thing, and it's fun to talk about because it's fun after for me to do it if you do the notes because you don't have to write it down. Obviously, people can talk about it, and if you're with people enough, like I'm drinking up with Jason and some other and a lot of people, so they're not just like agreeing with you. So I like when people write some stuff down, so you at least know they're agreeing with you because most of the people, it is fun to watch how you may have picked up something and you think you're the only person, and all of a sudden at the end of it, you're like, wow, I wasn't crazy. Because I put like some question marks sometimes when I'm not really sure about, a flavor or profile I'm picking up.
So this is the Che being quiet we were talking about earlier. It doesn't happen very often. No, he's in deep thought and pondering. The thinker pose.
This is hard work, Don. Somebody has to take the notes.
Got to take one for the team. I'm just going to sit here and eat bread.
I'm glad they don't have a lot of food because you've been up like 2 or 3 times already.
I think I'm ready if they're both done.
I'm ready.
Don't you
I was ready. I was ready
You're
45 minutes before this started.
I was mentally preparing. was here on time.
What'd you say?
I was here on time.
You were early. You were 30 seconds
30
early.
seconds early.
And you know what they say: if you're early, you're on time. And if you're on
Thank
time,
you.
you're late. He was early.
Boom.
All right. So I'm ready now. I think enough to do it.
Ready enough to do it.
Ready enough to do it. So
Oh.
what we know, the process we normally do is we got like voting one out, vote one opt out. And so this is the one that.
And I've got Andrew's picks.
Yeah.
He sent them to me.
Oh wow. He actually. But guess what? I only gave you half an ounce, and we got 1 ounce. So. Mhm.
That wasn't an ounce.
With the water, it was like
Just say
2.
fourth an ounce. All right. So what we do, like I said, we'll vote one out. So that obviously that one is that was the one that we liked the least, and we do talk about it. That this will the first time we'll start talking about it. Josh looks really scared back there. We're hoping he'll be able to put into the words what he's written down. So, and this is a good part to talk about. Where this obviously will start to, if you're smart and you pay back and sit back and listen, you can start figuring out which one is not going to be making the cut. But it's super important to say. I'm going to say at this point is this doesn't mean this is a bad barrel.
I would buy
Absolutely.
any of these.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's the
They're-
thing.
they're
It's
all
just like there's something this we talked about before. Whatever your deciding factor is, whether it's the nose, the palate, whatever hits you, the finish, whatever's important to you. That's what we're saying is when I pick my least. I don't know how you guys are. That's just the one of the three that I haven't had one where I was like this. Any of them are bad. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be happy with any of them.
There's just better aspects of the other
Right,
barrels
right.
that you like more.
Right, because I've been on, I've been on picks where the one I want didn't win, but that doesn't mean later on I'm not going to buy the pick or drink it. It's just at that time I thought that was better, and that's what's important about the one thing to talk about the pick team, I guess, is like changing it up. Like changing up the pick team is super important. It is good to have continuity to make sure you understand the guidelines, but changing it up is important too because you have different palates and people like different things. So that ends up, potentially bringing a better barrel that normally you wouldn't get. So that's the fun
Your
part.
palate is definitely affected too by like what you've eaten and drank in the last day.
I didn't eat anything because I didn't have time because I had to get back from Kentucky, get everything set up for you guys. But everybody evidently, Levy had dinner. Josh was at Polaris.
I had lobster
He had
truck.
lobster truck. So yeah,
Cousin Nate.
mine is definitely
Absolutely,
not
cousin Maine.
I haven't eaten since 1 o'clock.
I could have brought you something.
I can tell your skin and bones.
You would not have made it if you had to bring him food.
Skin and bones right there.
Cousin's Maine lobster with a couple beers,
Mm.
sitting outside on the patio with my beautiful wife, who I love very much.
Yeah, nice. Kissing up. Okay,
It was never spud.
She knows she drives fast.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So we'll talk about. We'll start for last. So Levy. Actually, let's go from the people who showed up the last. So Josh, you're up. You showed up last. What was your? You're going to go first this time. What was your least favorite? Which one's out for you?
A was my least favorite, and I actually went back and forth. B was my favorite right off the bat. I could just tell it had like a more pronounced flavors and.
We're not talking about
finish.
your favorite. We're talking about your least favorite. Huh?
But then I had A and C to choose from, and I actually went back and forth and changed it.
So what didn't you like about A? Well, what was it? Why was it your least favorite?
I thought it had a little more ethanol on the nose, and the finish was probably the least of the three. But it was interesting because I thought C had the worst finish at first, but after I added water, it actually opened up really nice, and I got much more of a pronounced, longer finish. So, yeah, A was my least favorite.
All right. So it was you next.
Yeah, A as well for the same reason. It just had a lot more ethanol on the nose, and a lot more ethanol on the finish, a lot more burn to it. I would have guessed out of the three that was the highest proof out of the barrel.
Yeah.
That again, not bad, and it got a little bit better, but it still was not. It still came in as my least favorite.
Oh, now he's complaining. Before we do this, he's complaining that his decision was hard because I only gave him a half ounce of whiskey. Man, if you're a professional, man, look how much is left, dude. There's like, come on. I mean, he's an alcoholic over there. He was just pounding it over there.
Shay actually poured himself an ounce. Shay poured himself 2
I might put
ounces.
3 ounces of it now, but Cool. So now
I really just wanted to try
Mr.
that one.
Levy.
Yeah, I had A as my least favorite. I didn't get into the depth of the fact that it was ethanol. I just felt that it tasted semi-similar to one of the others on here, but just more muted. I didn't really get the Defiant flavors.
Yeah, so you saw me writing down some stuff that they were. I wasn't cheating about what they were saying. I just write something because again, I try to collect some stuff for historical things. But this is interesting because we talked about this before. I think Jason brought it up that the least favorite is usually it's really quick to identify. So the pick before that I was on last, I think that the one that was voted off had 6. There were 8 people. 6 people pick the same least favorite, and we're gonna actually go 100%. Mine was A also.
Wow.
What I thought about A is I talked about how I like it. I just thought I had the shortest finish, and it was like really basic. I got one note. Did he?
Okay, so
They'll tell him what's his least favorite.
Andrew's least favorite. His least favorite was B.
Okay. So and if you want to type in what you didn't like about it, Andrew, that's fine. But for me, I thought A. You guys were talking about ethanol. I did have nice. I thought the nose had some sweetness to it, but then when I had the palate, it was a bunch of oak and leather to me. And that's all I got. It was like one dimensional. Not that it was the oak. I like that.
I got a little caramel in there too.
I tried, but that's why I kept going back to it, like you just had before. It's like super just one flavor.
I had some lightly toasted butternut squash in there with some peanut oil that had been previously used. That's what I got.
But we're making jokes, but some people, but there are people like who are foodies that have that honestly that can I don't know if I'm saying this the right way, can articulate what they're tasting better than other people, and we're making jokes about it, but people actually can't do that. But it is funny. There are some people that come up with some stuff that
creme de la brulee.
I love creme brulee, and I'm like
come up with things I've never heard of, and I'm a foodie and love to cook.
If creme brulee is really
what
good.
in the fuck is that?
If I had creme brulee, I would have that's my favorite dessert. So I would I like bathing in it if I had a whiskey that was. But I've never had that. But so you see the comments that came up. So there's different ways of explaining what it is. But it is interesting that 4 of us were right and 1 of us was wrong.
Here's an older comment from Andrew. Not that one.
Bad. Come on, producer.
He's slacking. He's actually usually on it when it really matters. So thank you, Josh. If you guys keep,
there we go.
I think it was A pairs best with RC Cola.
Interesting.
Do they still make RC Cola?
Oh yeah, big time.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's all there. Oh, and do you guys call it pop in Ohio?
I'm a pop guy. You can
It's
get your
pop.
soda all you
So
want.
if it says RC Cola, do you call it RC pop?
No, what kind of pop do you want? RC
Oh
Cola.
my God, dude, this is the dumbest thing in Ohio. I like the bus on it, other than Ohio State Buckeyes, but how you guys call it pop?
You mean the Ohio State?
What do you call it?
Josh,
The
soda.
The Ohio
What kind of
State
soda
Buckeyes trademarked.
Yeah, TM.
I gotta rewind and look at that look you just gave me about the Buckeyes. Man. I'm like, wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
So,
Number 1 recruiting class, number 1 in NIL. You're just a hater.
oh gosh, Urban will be so proud of you. So what we talked about before, this is something we've seen a trend, and if you've been involved in it, that's awesome. In a pick, but it is interesting. So 4-1, all joking aside, and that's pretty normal. There's a majority that the one that's the least favorite, it kind of stands out as being the least favorite. And again, I want to keep saying that doesn't mean that barrel. I guess what to talk about is the barrels that we don't pick. Someone else will have the opportunity to pick.
And,
So
it will be their favorite.
Yeah,
barrel.
right, exactly. That's what people say, like, oh, you got to be early because if not, you're getting the people's rejects. And this is not. It doesn't mean it's a reject. So A is not a reject. That's not what it means. It's just like for the people in the pick team, that's not our favorite. That's all that means.
It was still a solid pour.
Oh, yeah,
it really was.
I
I mean, I love the.
We'll get some extra
I
time
thought-
in a
yeah.
barrel.
You're right. It's a little one-dimensional, but it has a good amount.
Yeah, but it has that. Like I love
oakiness.
that oakiness. I get that. I love the earthy tones. So I liked it a lot. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that will talk about that and say, if you got this barrel in November, you'd be like, oh, this is a reject barrel. That is not the case at all. That's just it's just that we don't like it. I made that comment 10 minutes ago.
No, it was there earlier. We just didn't comment about it.
Yeah, we glossed over
saw
it.
Yeah, some of us are doing God's work here, Andrew, while you're to be babysitting your kids, packing the car, get ready to come back.
I don't envy that
Checking your
12-hour drive
checking your
tomorrow.
email. Where's he at?
Hilton Head,
Okay.
I think. Okay.
No, I think he's in Outer Banks.
Outer Banks, Hilton Head.
I'm going
What,
next
what
week.
the fuck ever.
You're all the same.
Same shit. Same shit, different state. Same distance.
Yeah, that's when it's like the big time touristy. Like it's.
It's been that way for a while.
Yeah.
So I think it always has been.
Where?
I went to Hilton Head, I think, like in 2000, early 2000. Then I went. I think Jan and I were talking about it like 3 years ago, and it was like.
Me and Andrew vacationed to Hilton Head together a couple
okay.
times. Once with the family, once without.
Oh, he's Outer Banks. He's down there. He's down there helping with season 3 of Outer Banks from Netflix. I've actually never been to Outer Banks, so gotcha. So we've ruled one out. So you guys and gals obviously know A is not the winner for us this thing. So we'll start off now. We'll reverse the order of the favorites. This is gonna be interesting. Like now you guys know the deal. Talk about your favorites, what you liked about it. Josh, wake me up after you go through your dissertation of which one you liked. I'll be like,
I need a minute. Yeah. I need a minute. Hold on.
You want to go? Are you ready? You want to go first too?
No, I need a minute. Give me one.
Ready?
Yeah.
You got
Before you
someone
first?
else?
I can put my first down.
You ready?
Yeah,
You ready to rock
I said B. I thought that it was nutty, which is a flavor profile that I think Beam has often. I mean, it might be stereotypical, but I definitely got some nuttiness and like some confectionery sugar. It was like just like powdered sugar. It wasn't like a brown sugar molasses, in my opinion. It was just more like a frosting sort of sugar.
Here they go. He's going to start talking about
Tasty stuff.
nothing but cake.
Nothing but
Frosting,
cake is the best,
frosting.
man.
They are
Yeah,
great.
Those are really good.
They're so
Big
good.
time.
Crumble's good.
That's
too.
like a birthday thing for us. Everybody gets to pick your flavor. If you don't get the red velvet, you're wrong. But
Yeah, all I really wrote down was nutty and sweet. I technically wrote down nuttier and sweet because I wrote down nutty and sweet for A.
so nuttier in your mouth is what you were saying here.
Oh yeah, nuttier and sweeter, definitely.
So it's nuttier on your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
I guess I'll go. B was also my favorite. I thought the nose had a lot of like nice and rich brown sugar molasses kind of. I didn't get a ton of nuttiness on it like Nate did, but I thought the palate was super rich and oily, and it just had a really good like deep brown sugar taste to it. And then the finish, I think, was probably the longest finish of the 3, and I just got a nice big oak bomb. I thought that, the flavors on this one were just more pronounced than the other 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is funny. I didn't get the brown sugar. I thought it was
Nuttier
sweet,
in your
but
mouth. Yep, exactly. We could do a T-shirt on that.
Nuttier in your mouth. Yeah, I said what I said. I'll say it again. Nuttier in my mouth, baby. B all day. B is the way.
I'll go. I'll let you go last, so they don't think it's rigged. Then I'm going to just jump on the bandwagon.
Okay.
All right. I'm actually going to disagree with you guys off the bat. So my favorite C, and I'll go with what I did. Everything you're saying about there was a certain taste I was trying to figure out with B, and I think you kind of hit it that like peanutty, maybe something with the nuttiness you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had it was chocolatey. I was thinking like something that's kind of what I was kind of thinking, like dark chocolate or something. But the one thing that separated B and C to me was I felt like, and you guys didn't say it, which I'm surprised, is I thought B was like super floral on the palate. I got like a super. That's what I got.
I did not get that at all.
I keep kind of go back, so that's why I'm kind of like when you guys were talking, I was saying something. But I thought I loved C. I thought what was neat is I thought it had the least amount of ethanol on the nose. I thought it was the most mild. I got it like that oaky smokiness that I was getting in A. But I also thought I got like that sweet caramel, and then I just thought the palate was it was like a ton of stuff going on. I just loved it overall. There was like the oakiness I love, the sweetness, caramel. It was just like everything. And I thought this had the longest finish to me. Not deep finish, but like just stayed in the palate in your draw. So I thought that was. So I'm actually going with C. It's my favorite.
I had B as well. it was the most I thought it had the best nose. So from the get-go, I had picked B on the nose, and I had thrown A out.
Yeah.
C was close, but I thought B was just a little bit deeper with a little less ethanol to it. I didn't get any floral out of it, and it seemed to like completely coat my mouth, and it was very full-bodied, very like it was a very big drink.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with B.
I agree. Like I said, it was super rich and oily, and it just like.
So I think everything you guys are saying is C. Maybe I switched the samples on myself. No, which is fine. I mean, this is why if you ever have the opportunity to do this, you absolutely have, because it is fun. It's different. I mean, people agree, but I would agree. I mean, what you're saying, I keep going back to that. I saved a little bit because I just don't. Everything you guys honestly saying about B, I feel about C.
C just fell short.
C. I thought
It was good, but it just fell short at the end. It didn't have that follow through that I thought B had.
I just like the sugary taste from B that I did not get as much of in C.
See,
I don't know how you guys don't get floral.
I'm
In
almost
it.
I
getting
didn't-
a little fruit and floral on C.
I actually have fruity on C.
I wrote down.
Did
dark
you-
fruit,
did you screw it up?
karaoke. You might have messed up.
I'll blame it on my wife. She helped me. She probably switched it on us.
You got an Air Force flag hanging.
I know. I mean, that's a rough thing.
Wow.
We got to take care of the Air Force. So our last guest was Air Force, so we have to honor that because we're going to go on a huge Army run soon. You know what I mean?
Hoorah.
I had, and if all seriousness though, if anybody knows anybody in the Space Force, we have to get them on because I just want to.
Do you
I
have
have the Space Force flag?
Do you have a Space
Yes,
Force flag?
that's what I should have put up. I'm like, oh my god.
That would have been
Great.
Because I want to talk about their jacked up rank. Have you seen their rank on?
Yeah.
It's like it takes up their whole sleeve.
Yeah.
It's like
Are you in the Space Force?
what?
Have you been in the Space Force?
Yeah,
It's new,
I
it's
feel like
cool.
they're reaching out. Like
Well, yeah, but back in the day, the Air Force alone did that. They had the whole.
yeah,
I
the
mean,
whole sleeve. Yeah, they have all the chevrons and
Yeah.
things upside down. You're like, what does that mean? They're like, I'm an E2. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess they are smarter than us, so they can have more technical stuff, add stuff like Army just up down. You figure it out.
Sounds like some jealous talking. Here.
So Andrew's favorite was A.
Andrew's just wrong.
Andrew, you are never being part of the pick again. If you can, Andrew, post like in what you like
I think
about it.
now is the time to click this one because I agree. A does belong with some RC Cola.
Yeah, holy cow. All right, so I obviously the funny thing about this is we have a winner because I'm going to provide a sample, a couple more samples, one more sample to get to use. I have to thank who's going to actually help us sponsor this barrel. And if you're not familiar with how it the barrel picks going to Ohio is, we have to be the barrel to legally bring a barrel in.
That's a big
we're
word.
gonna tell you
Rewind that to what?
Legally bring a barrel in. It has to be sponsored by a liquor license holder. So we're going to bring this to Genty. So thank you, Genty, for allowing me to do this. And actually, this was the first one I could say, you guys are wrong, and we're going to get C. So if you've ever been on the pick, Genty always does that. He'll say something, but I'll let him do that. But no matter what, I think it's going to be B is going to be our winner. But so we'll talk about first. What we did is we didn't say what A was. We didn't when we kicked it out.
Oh, yeah.
What we talked about there. I was falling asleep from Josh's comments. And so many of them. You know what's funny? He wrote all this shit down, and he only said like 4 things. It was like he has a.
He's got a big scribble through part of it.
And he's like, I hate Che.
I do hate
If he
Jay.
keeps making fun of me, I'm gonna
Che,
stab him with
Che,
this.
shut
that's
up.
just a journal entry.
So A, the one we
You might wanna
unanimously
note that
did not like, except for Andrew. So A is actually Warehouse K. It's floor 4, Rick 38, tier 1, and it was barreled on 10/18/2012.
Okay.
So depending on when we get, it's close to.
Almost a 10-year.
Yeah, if we keep going with the bottle shortage, we'll get a 10-year. So Nick, you guys can put that aside and get a solid 10 years out of it. So
What was the proof on
if
that
we were going to get it, but yeah, so this one, what's funny is I actually looked at this and I thought it was crazy, but they don't have the proofs on here. So if Nick, if you could help me out, Nick, later on, with providing the picks and
It's not on the bottom?
no, they're not. Yeah. Let me check it. Yeah, they actually are. I think they are. Maybe you're right. Look at me. I'm a rookie. I've only done this.
I know you
Couple
are. That's why I figured I'd be your backup.
Oh, they actually are. Look at me.
That's
Look
what
at
I know,
me.
so
Yeah,
I
thanks,
just
Nick.
wanted to help
You
you
guys wrote that down. Don't look yet. Jeez.
Jeez,
See, we're missing the whole thing.
We already
See,
said
you
that.
guys, I know exactly. Somebody look, because these guys cheated.
Chick-fil-A.
So A is actually 124.95 proof. So that was actually the close. It was the closest to the bottle proof. It makes a sense.
Oh,
If
wow.
I wasn't too stressed out about
man.
these guys not even showing up, I probably would have noticed that. But that's good. So so that was
He was
A.
losing his mind. He called me, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah, I
I'm like 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
Chill out. I
So,
got your bread.
Like I said, this is
Get your blood sugar back up.
So this is different. So so that was one we voted out A. So that's out. Which is cool. So then the one that I guess we'll go with the one that the next one that we voted out was C. Should we say this though? Because Genty's probably not watching. He never watches anyways.
He's working.
Yeah, he pretends like he watches. So C, which is out right now. C. Thank you. Was 128.2 proof.
Mm-hmm.
It is Warehouse Q as in
got it.
Quebec. Floor 6, Rick 8, Tier 2, and barreled on 10/9/2012.
So a couple days before
You
A.
guys passed on the, 9 days.
Next.
A couple days. That
makes
do
it
you just make that up on the plane? Like, oh, we're a couple feet more. You got. It's actually 9 days different, but to be exact, sorry. That's for your company
We
commander. He told me
appreciate
you
your
were at time.
precision.
So B, the winner. These guys passed on the oldest barrel.
Hmm.
See, I was able to pick that up.
Understandably
The
so.
oldest barrel isn't always the best.
That's right. To prove.
Yeah.
So the winner is from Warehouse M, as in Mike. Floor 4, which let's talk about that because the one we kicked out that
That
we
ain't
unanimously
even
didn't like
center cut.
was also for. Also, it's interesting when we talk about it. It's a different warehouse, but when we talk about the floor, it's the same level. The floor M. This was Rick 15, Tier 3, and like I said, this one is actually I think the youngest. Yep, the youngest. This was barreled on 10/24.
Wow.
2 whole days.
2012, so it's a big
Yeah.
difference. It's super young, but actually the proof was 131.8.
There we go.
So
I'm glad I put in all that water. That makes sense.
Yeah. So the problem is that they should have put a lot more water in. So
131. We were just
guaranteed
talking, you
that
haven't hit
C
a
is
131.
better because they didn't put enough water in it. You guys, they're gonna be like, this doesn't taste what it thought
Shut
it would
up.
taste like. Ooh.
Run it back.
Oh.
Let's do it one
No.
more time.
We don't have much to do. I wouldn't do that. So like in that, what we talked about before. So we've actually had cases where it's a tie. It's also awesome if you have a place. If you go to the distillery, I definitely recommend that you talk beforehand with the group that's doing the pick, and make sure you try to do a tie because that means you can get better taste. But they are very good to make sure you get the right one. Some of them, but if we did have enough, we would talk about if we had to do a test. But I think this is a pretty clear-cut winner for the group.
Andrew, he probably had him backwards.
No, no. I feel like you mislabeled mine. You helped me pour them, dude. You were right. Come on. You're an artilleryman, so you probably can't read. We should have color coded it for you as well. But no,
Just would have made them all red.
but yeah, to talk,
Maybe good.
to talk about before, like we'll talk. That opens all the way. It doesn't open
Yeah.
all the way.
No.
It should be good.
Oh.
So what we talked about before is what is cool. Like now that we have it, the reason I didn't show it earlier is because I didn't want to let everybody see the stuff. But you do get like a really cool packet about it, and then they do give you a book on the back of it where you can talk about your tasting notes. It does give you some things about this, and we didn't talk about it before, but they do talk about. You get the same book for both the bourbon and the rye, and it just talks about both the programs. It gives you some flavor profiles. Really cool book. It talks about there's the flavor profiles you generally get. Nothing does it say about being nutty in your mouth, so I don't know where Nathan got that from. Nuttier in your mouth. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you don't get a little nutty, then I don't think you're doing it right.
And they do give you a chart, but I've never been where they officially follow it, where they give you the percentage. It's too much math to figure out.
He is
how
an
much
Army guy.
water to add. Yeah. And then they do give you like a sampling note. So it's kind of, if you looked at something that's kind of did the similar thing, a note thing. So it's really cool. You obviously get, like you showed, the water. They give you some water to actually put in there, purified water to dump and then knock down the proof. And then, the beaker to do that. And then they actually, this is new. It has some plastic,
I don't like it.
yeah, it's hard to get stuff out, but
Yeah.
each one of the, like we said before, the bottles are labeled. And I was testing those
breaks.
guys, but the proof is actually on there on the bottle. So, what I think I'll do though is I think I'm gonna change it up. I think we're gonna somehow figure out a way to raffle this off,
Okay.
and you're gonna get a sample. You'll be able to do the pick. Well, I'll leave you enough in there for you to be able to taste all three of them. So we'll do that. And like I said before, I will ship them.
But we all know A is the worst.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, but like go through it before and try it. If it's really cool and see what you think. See if you can agree with us or disagree with. That's fine. But unfortunately, your vote's not going to count because we have to submit the vote to Nick tonight.
B.
So Genti, you still don't get a vote. Really, I hate to tell you that, but we get a taste. But no, I will send that to. Like I said before, I will send that to you via mail. Lenore is one of my classmates. She bought a hat and glasses, and UPS or US Postal Service, the guy didn't put the tag, the shipping label on it, and it went on to another package, and she got this random package. And I've been trying to find it for like 20 some days, and I feel bad. And like I came home and it's literally upstairs. It's like with no label. But I don't understand why they didn't just send it to her. There's a label I put on it,
Right.
but I will not use the U.S. Postal Service. So that's again not on my top list is the VA Medical or the U.S. Postal Service. Now we're going to add another thing that we talk shit about.
It's amazing they showed up not broken though.
I didn't open it yet.
Oh.
You might have jinxed me. So it does open like a little bit. So my wife's like, "You're gonna have to retape that." I was like, "Oh, I didn't notice it." Yeah, I didn't think about it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Lauren, maybe you're not getting anything because they might have taken anything out of it. I don't know. But
So someone brought up a point. How do I buy a T-shirt?
oh,
Do
okay.
you want to?
So we're trying to get the merchandise thing going. It's a slow process, and we're getting to the point now. Like everybody's been supporting. It's the 10th episode, so we're trying to make sure we get the content right. We did do a T-shirt order. We'll do another one. I'm working with the gentleman who's doing the T-shirts to put together like a merchandise page for us. So depending, we'll get the shirts in. We'll look at them again, and what we'll probably do before we go to the straight merchandise page, because unfortunately when we do that, it's going to be a little bit more money because he's going to ship it to you. So we'll probably do another hat and shirt
Bulk order.
and
I like it.
Glencairn bulk order, and like I said, I'll ship that. But I guess now to talk about that, so we'll let you know the shirts. We'll look at them and see how they go, and we'll work that. But unfortunately, I kind of had a deadline, and believe it or not, it's super hard to get these shirts. So we kind of had to. I would have kept it going, but if we kept it going, we weren't going to be able to get them. And so the supply chain shortages are for real. Evidently, green T-shirts. Super hard to get.
How commodity.
Microchips for cars, bottles for this bourbon. So the next thing to talk about is for some people who don't know how this is working, and we don't have all the answers yet. We were supposed to sit down earlier and talk about this, so I was prepared. But when you show up like 30 seconds early, you're gonna have to kind of wing it a little bit. But the barrel, we'll provide the barrel selection that we chose to Knob Creek. We'll talk about the process because a lot of people don't know it, right?
Sure.
So they'll know the process. They will
This one's really good,
mark that
14
barrel for the
options.
program.
I probably have.
I've already, what's neat about this, if you look on here, and we'll get going on, we'll talk about, but this is a pick that we did locally here, and we actually named it Bourbon Meyer.
That's a
That's
good
why I
one.
brought that up, Bourbon Meyer, and it
Love
has the
it.
Ohio State thing. So the pick team, you generally have the ability to pick the name of your barrel as long as it's not inappropriate. And wrong. So if you look, like some of them are on there, like this is, Papa Joe's is the liquor store. There's just says Papa Joe's Liquor. So there's different things like this picks. We have Bourbon Meyer. There's one behind is
Ryan Day.
Ryan Day. So we did that for all the Ohio State fans. Would have sold a lot more.
Jay, in case you didn't know, we are in Ohio.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay.
In Columbus.
Columbus, even.
And I'm supposed to just jump on the bandwagon like all these people.
You act like
Never
it's
went
you
to
act
the
like
Ohio
it's
State.
you act like it's a thing that there's not many Ohio State fans around, but Like,
pretty much everyone in Ohio.
20 miles down the
Not
road.
everybody. I mean, I don't. I just like giving you guys a hard time. But the one thing I don't agree with Ohio State is the stupid not saying the M during when you guys play Michigan. That is like the craziest thing to me. It's like the X. It is what it is. You got it. There's great parts of being in Columbus.
And then there's greater parts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just a little bit of tradition.
I know. I get it. That's all right. But what'll happen? So the name of the pick, I'm pretty set on that. We're going to name it "Pours with Patriots." I think that we're not going to come up with a unique name, but I think I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to name it. So yeah, I mean, I'm really tempted to go. I wanted "Pours with Patriots," but "Nuttier in Your Mouth." I somehow think that Knob Creek is not going to prove that. So
I disagree.
I don't, because we've had some other ones. We're not going to get into naming things. But the barrel, if you look at the bottle, it's going to look like this. It's going to say "Pours with Patriots." All the information we talked about will be on the bottom. And then what John Barlow, who's on vacation right now, doesn't know is he's already volunteered.
He better be watching.
Yeah, I don't think he is, but I haven't talked to him, but he's gladly is going to make a custom tag
that says "Nuttier in Your Mouth."
No, yeah, there'll be a hang tag, which is really cool. And if you haven't, a lot of the folks here and in the group have seen these before if they're local here. But
it's not going to have your ugly mug on it.
No,
is it?
I don't know.
It'll be a little army man.
Yeah, but it'll tag, and he talks about that. Yeah. So he volunteers. He does. I don't give him enough work, but we'll do that. So
we're going to put a plastic army man on it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so we have to.
So we're making a joke. So this is a good time to talk about. This is fun. Like we're this is funny. I'm actually having fun because this is the first time I don't think I've looked at how long we've been broadcasting for, because usually I'm cognizant trying to do that, and especially with Jason, because he's like 50 minutes off the episode. But one of the things that is used to be a trend, or has become a trend, and it's not really popular anymore, and
it really shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. Is but people will put stickers like this on the back, and what's bad about it is it covers warnings, so you can agree to get through. A lot of people that say I have bottles that have stickers. Obviously, they some of them are done tastefully. It is fun, but what's unfortunate about it is sometimes these stickers can drive people for buying a substandard whiskey or thing, because it has something like, if I put the Ohio State on that, everybody would get A. They would buy barrel A just because it was the Ohio State. So no, but we do that. So there's ways to do that, but there's ways to market. We're going to try to do honor the group with the Pours with Patriots. I'm going to try to probably in the tag. It will definitely have something to do with the group, as well as our support of what the group is really founded for, and what I started about was to deal with troubled veterans and doing that. So I'm going to somehow try to work in. You're supposed to be helping me here, producer. The Veterans Crisis Hotline. We'll try to put that on there to do that. So I haven't figured out what we're going to do, but we'll have a cool hang tag. How it'll work is there'll be an opportunity, just so you know, we'll talk about it more. Absolutely legal the way we're doing this, and we're going to talk about it right now, just so people understand. To buy a bottle, you're going to have to provide your address, your phone number, email to me. That will be shared with the rep who has to then send that to state. You don't have to worry about all this kind of stuff that they're going to use it against you. If you don't provide that, unfortunately, or not, that's one of the requirements. You may be a different group where they don't do that. You don't want to do that. I'm sorry, but that's just the way we're going to do it. We keep it above bar. So
one point to bring up: are out of state.
Yeah, we haven't worked that. Yeah, we haven't worked that out yet. So the people that are out of state, we're going to try to figure that out. I have been very good about sending the freebie stuff to you, but I got to tell you honestly right now, I'm not going to be able to cover the cost of shipping a bottle to you, but we will work that. So you will have if you're out of state and you want a bottle, you will get it for the cost of the bottle here in Ohio, which is actually one of the great things about being a controlled state. The price is
the
really
only.
Good. Yeah, the only is the price. Yeah, the only thing about it. It's really good. And then we'll talk about, we can figure it out. We have Mr. Logistics Nathan Levy there in the back. He's volunteered to help.
I'm just a guy with a UPS account.
Trying to figure out how to do that, but we'll work all the details. But there will definitely be an opportunity if you want a bottle shipped to you.
I'm traveling out to New Hampshire later in the year.
And hopefully what we'll try to do is, I know
pick up bourbon from my camper.
I know there's some folks that are in Massachusetts, some of my classmates, so maybe we we'll figure that out. But there will be an opportunity to get them. There will be a cost for the barrel to buy the bottom. Sorry, it'll be that cost. We're not gonna. I did contemplate a little bit about doing some charity stuff, but it makes it a little bit more difficult in Ohio because it's controlled. So it's going to be at cost. And then I have to talk to John, but at minimum, it's going to cost an additional $250 for the tags, and the tags are really cool. There's something you can keep after the bottle's done, kind of a note, and that's why I kind of wanted to get with the having the Veterans Crisis Hotline thing on the back. So I don't know if he's going to change that. He may be generous and decide to do that at no cost. Don't feel obligated. No joking aside, John, to do that. It's fine, but there may be that cost to do that. But we'll work out the details. I don't have all the details figured out here, but I do want to know that it is going to go on. It's the first people that are going to have the opportunity to get it will be the people in the group, and it'll be one. We're going to start off with one bottle a person. That way we can get it to as many people as we can. And one of the things we didn't talk about in the barrel pick is like the yield. Mm-hmm. So there's a different yield. There's not a necessary number yield, but I'll definitely know at some point what it yields later on. So I'd probably assume 135, 140 barrels. But we've had barrel picks that came in less than that. But we'll know that ahead of time. And obviously we're not going to oversell what we have. So we're going to leave it to one person. One thing to talk about again, and so we'll do this, is the bottle that you buy is for your own consumption. So that's not something that you can get and trade for somebody else. Hopefully you wouldn't do that or sell it later on. So it'll be for your own personal consumption.
It'll be cracked.
I don't think we're going to be able to do that because it's going to be shipped. Yeah,
for those.
It's going to be hard to do. But yeah, locally we do that. We actually crack the seal. If you saw these, we would this one's been cracked so you can see it. It's hard to see, but it's actually not all the way open. But we'll talk about that. But I'm excited. I have to thank the folks at Beam Suntory. One of the cool things that's going to come through. I have a really a huge amount of swag. I was supposed to send that backpack out to somebody. We're going to do that. I got a bunch of other stuff from Beam Suntory. I want to thank those folks for doing that. I really appreciate it. And want to personally thank Nick with Beam Suntory for hooking the group up with this pick, and hopefully it's the first of many more to come. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be back. We're not sure. We definitely have in a couple of weeks. We'll have somebody on. We might have somebody off schedule next week. We're trying to find one more guest. I do want to let anybody in the Columbus area know we're still trying to stay local. I think it's a lot more fun to come down here and meet people personally. So if you are in the Columbus area and you want to come on and share your story, and I've had several veterans. This is good that someone's not here, and I think you and I talked about somebody we know. The idea behind this is to share every veteran story. It doesn't matter if you were, a Navy SEAL or if you were a cook. The idea is to share the story, your story, and we're veterans, and all veterans. We have a story, and that's the idea. So please come on if you're thinking about it. You're on the fence. Watch some episodes. We're not going to blindside you with anything that you don't want to talk about. And I encourage you to come on. And if you know somebody that's interested, if you don't want to come on, if you know somebody would be a good guest, and that's start a DM chat with me, and I'll gladly talk to them. But please, if you're local, to do that. And soon we'll be branching out, I think, to some teleconference stuff. Some other people. My college roommate.
Can I still come and eat?
Yeah, we'll definitely have people here. And it's one of the things we're trying to mess with. I think it's one of those. I don't know. It's part about whiskey. I think the fun part is to be together and do that.
Absolutely.
And of course, I can control everything if everyone's down here in the basement. Obviously, not the control.
Not when you show up, though.
Yeah, not when these guys show up.
Can't control him if he's not here.
Exactly. No, we're doing that. But if there's somebody that's out of state, also let me know. I have some of those guests lined up, and we're doing that. So we might have somebody next Thursday, and that's 7:00 because we had a discussion. We always go live at 7:00. Josh swears to God that he didn't know that we were going to go live at 7:00. That we didn't talk about.
What did you think we were going to do?
Yeah, what time did you think we were going to do it?
You said get here at 7.
He did get here at 7.
Got here at 6:59. You kidding me?
You said get here at 7.
That was your early.
34 seconds early.
Because you said 6:30 or 7. That's what threw me off. I was like, 7. We'll get there at 7.
No,
Be explicit.
No, I because it was funny. I've been out of town, so I did want to do it. I wasn't sure how we were going to do it. I thought like kind of last minute this was kind of thrown together, but I
We'll
think
do
it
it
worked
live.
out.
Yeah, we'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live. Let's just do it live. And then like if we go live, like we usually go live at 7:06, obviously, in Josh's mind. But they are a lot more hyper focused when we have guests. I gotta thank you, and I really want to thank these guys. And we were busting Andrew's balls earlier, but thank you guys for helping me see this vision through. It's been really it's been a fun ride, and I want to see where it keeps going. And I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you for the bread.
Make me cry.
Am I gonna cry?
Appreciate you.
If I have more whiskey, I might cry. But thank you, Andrew.
Cheers, everyone.
Yeah, cheers, and look out for it. We'll Josh is going to volunteer because he was the latest to put all the tasting notes when they come in. That and we'll be in touch on how to get some stuff. So thank you guys, everyone. And then before we tune off again, it has been going ticket at the bottom. Please, if you need someone to talk to, call the Veterans Crisis Hotline 1-800-273-8255 and press 1, or you can text 838-255, or you can reach out to anybody in the group. I think that's what's cool about this group. There's a lot. The group is growing. Find somebody in the group. I mean, or just reach out in the group and somebody I think will find you. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you hopefully in a week, maybe not a couple weeks. So have a good night. Cheers. You guys picked the wrong barrel.
No, you're wrong.
Nuttier.
Nuttier in your